Hi everybody, I have an unboxing today. It's not quite Thanksgiving, but I'm getting in the Christmas mood, Christmas prep mood. Thinking about the ornamentation of the coming holidays and all that entails in decorating your living space, your tree, your altar, your mantelpiece, and on and on. And I ordered a deck that I didn't think I was going to order, because when I first saw it, I thought, ooh, this is so bling, so glitzy. It's over the top. Do I need this? It's like putting glitter on sequins on top of rhinestones. It's one of the gold foil decks. And, well, I opened the package. It's the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot. Now, I have a few of these gold foil decks. This is from Lo Scarabeo, and I like them very much. I also like Art Nouveau imagery, and I had ordered in the past the Tarot of Alphonse Mucha, whose artwork I love, but I was utterly disappointed with that deck. Not only was there a flaw on one of the cards that I got in the deck, but the whole design of the deck let me down. It's in that vein of decks dedicated to an artist or inspired by an artist, but not actually the artist's work. Somebody re-envisioning their style. And as I looked at the cards, I didn't think they'd done a good enough job of it. Anyway, I debated whether to buy this deck or not. I've seen a couple of walkthroughs, and then Dustin of Modern Metaphysical Man, I hope I got that right, I'm always getting it wrong, did a walkthrough. Of course I can't get this open. Where's my blade? Did a walkthrough the other day of a new deck called the Black and Gold Tarot, which I think is also Lo Scarabeo. And where the hell is my blade? And it was one that I was considering. It's Pixie's images in black ink on gold foil background. And there it is. Ugh, the bottom of the pile. Sorry for this in your face. There we go. So yeah, the Black and Gold Tarot had just been released, and he did a walkthrough of it, and it comes in an amazing box and has a big, fancy book with it and everything. And I looked at it, and I was about ready to order it, and then I looked at the price, and oddly enough, it's more expensive than this deck was by about $11. I think they wanted $32 for the Gold and Black Tarot. They only wanted $21 for this one. So I had another look at a walkthrough for this, and decided I'm going to go ahead and get it, because I like the images. They have a more appealing Art Nouveau quality to them, And the color palette is an autumn color palette, which I love. I love autumn colors. This is a tuck box, which I hate, you know, takes longer to get into. And of course, more shrink wrap. Where's my blade again? I should learn my lesson. So when I looked at the walkthrough again, I thought, you know, I think I should go ahead and get that. I mean, between the two, this one has more going for it than the gold and black, or black and gold. This one has beautiful artwork, a beautiful color palette I like, backs that I like, and the addition of the gold embellishments. It does have borders. The gold and black was, I think, or black and gold is borderless. But there is the title card, and the backs I like very much. They're almost reversible. You can see that is not, won't be the same direction if it's reversed. Looks like a moon on top of a wheel of fortune, possibly. Not quite clear. You can make that out. But, and both of the decks, both this deck and the other deck, the gold foiling is in a grid-like pattern in the background, which I'm not keen on. I like, if it's gold foil embellished, I like it to have a uniquely different looking quality on each card. Like the Golden Botticelli was that way. However, I believe the Mantegna was silver and a routine pattern. And you probably, I don't know if you can see here, there's a repeated sort of grid-like symmetrical pattern in the background. But, you know, I think these I would like even if they didn't have the gold foiling on them, just because the artwork and design work is so nice. It's, you know, RWS image inspired, but really well done. And the images, the characters, the actors in it are very dramatic. There are some blues and greens, but the palette in the background, you can see there's a lot of like autumn earth tones, like sort of harvest time earth tones. You know, you can see it on the back. These are kind of the basic colors used in a lot of the card layouts, which I really like. I mean, with Christmas coming, I kind of wanted a deck that was ornamented and has a Christmassy feel to it. Now, this is not really a wintry or snowy deck, but it is ornate. And it is that sort of, does, because of the palette, have that sort of autumn, winter approaching feel to it. In terms of the artwork, I think this far outshines the Tarot of Mocha. which I think I may let go. If anybody wants it, I might just pass it on. The problem is, when I first ordered it, I got it from a shop, and I should have taken it back to the shop because one of the cards had a little chip out of the top. And I didn't take it back, I think because I was sort of disheartened with the artwork anyway. And so I just hung on to it and hung on to it. And then about a year later, I decided to go ahead and write a letter to Lo Scarabeo and see if they could replace the damaged card. And oddly enough, they didn't ask me for any proof of purchase. They did send me a replacement card. However, the replacement card they sent me was faulty too. The rounded corner, one of the corners, wasn't cut properly the way that the other three were, and I don't have a corner cutter. And on top of that, it seemed to be a different print run, so it was sort of a glossy or semi-glossy print and a darker print. So even if I had fixed the corner and shoved it in the deck to shuffle, it would stand out. You could see the difference between it and all the other cards. After that, I didn't bother writing them again. I just kind of got exasperated by it. But if anybody is interested in the deck, you know, you can reach out to me. Curious what you think of this deck and the artwork. We'll see how it wears with me, you know, how much I'd be tempted to use it. I was over the moon when I got the Golden Botticelli, and even more over the moon when I got the Golden Klimt, and swore by both of them for a long time. And now, you know, other decks have come along that I just get more use out of and like more. So, as beautiful as they are, I rarely drag them off the shelves or carry them around with me. I think I also found them not as easy to read with as other decks that I've bought since, because it's the kind of situation where they sort of co-opted the artwork and forced them onto their card dessignations, descriptions. This one, on the other hand, looks to me to be so close to the RWS system designs that it looks to me to be completely readable. Okay, now we're going into the cups. It's the Ace of Cups. And you can see, I mean, don't see many blues in this deck. Lots of gold, yellow, orange, brown, beige. I like these warm, earthy colors. Of course, autumn is my favorite time of the year anyway, so anybody else who's an autumn fan and an Art Nouveau fan and a gold foil fan, this might be the ideal deck for you. I'm not sure why this is only $21. I mean, I don't know if it was that price when it came out. It only came out a few weeks ago. I hadn't paid attention to the price. Perhaps it's because it comes in a tut box instead of, these days, they invest a lot more in books and boxes than they do in the decks. Oh, I forgot to check. This does have a little white book with it. And there's a paragraph about the Art Nouveau movement. Then the usual couple of sentences for each card. It doesn't seem like there's any different information than any other little white book, and it's in, numerous languages. I am pleased that these days Lo Scarabeo is improving their design elements. They are no longer apparently putting the 6 languages on each card, and they're putting the Roman numerals or numbers at the top and bottom of the majors, and only the Arabic numbers at the top of the minors, and a little symbol at the bottom for the suit. This is much preferred to all that extraneous language stuff they did before, whether it be symmetrical at top and bottom or along one side. I wasn't fond of either, and I don't think a lot of other people were either. They must have gotten feedback to the extent that they changed their design policy. So whether you're buying this deck for yourself or as a gift for a friend, wouldn't this make a delightful stocking stuffer of a Christmas gift? Imagine their delight when they shove their hand in that stocking and pull out this plum. Like an ornament off the tree. Speaking of ornaments off the tree, the Ace of Pentacles. Look at it gleam in the sunlight down the garden path. This is a great 2 of Pence. And I like this 3. This is an almost wistful 4. He doesn't look that happy about holding on to his wealth. I like some of the different angles and perspectives on some of these cards, like this 5 with the figures coming towards you rather than past you and past the window. And also a lot of these are a little bit more like close-ups of the RWS design take on the imagery. They're the regular RWS cardstock in size, standard. Some have less gold on them than others, just a little accent. But I think, if I didn't say so before, that even if this didn't have the gold, I think I would enjoy it just because of the color and the quality of the artwork. The gold is just sort of like cherry on the cake, you know. But my original impulse when I first saw it was, it's too much, it's over the top. No, not only is it beautiful color, beautiful artwork, but, and, you know, the ornate design in all the floral aspects, vines and flowers, is so typical of Art Nouveau. But on top of that, you've got gold foiling. And not only gold foiling, but pattern within the gold foiling. It just seemed like too much. I'm sort of wondering why they put the white borders on these, whether they'd be even more gorgeous just as a borderless deck. But, no. Wands, we're into wands now. Pretty good for a $21 deck, huh? Lots of reds in this deck, but they're kind of darker, muted reds. Look at this. Really draws you into the conflict. And here's I love a lot of these. They're like face on. They're very directly relatable. They almost confront the reader. Which may or may not become an issue if you're reading, say, a spread of cards and looking for left-right interactions, because a lot of these seem not to be moving so much in left or right directions as coming face on or moving away from the reader. Can't make that out. Oh, that must be the page. Kind of an old page. I have a penchant for liking beautiful art in decks, and I've moved away from that a little bit in terms of some of my more modern art decks, but I still appreciate the beauty in them, and this is quite beautiful. Hey, is that the queen or the king? Oh, it's the king. King looks very motherly, like an older queen. The crone. The swords. These are actually prettier in real life than they are in the video, because unless you have a light directly on them, they're not like flashing at you, you know. You can sort of appreciate the art better if you don't have that reflection. See what I mean about the pattern? This sort of grid-like pattern on the gold. The black and gold was like that too. It was the rose and lily pattern, but in a grid. This one only has a little gold in the window. I like the angle on this one though. I'm curious, I'll be curious to see over time if this is a deck that I fully embrace and fall in love with, or just kind of like having. Whoops. The gold in that seems like it's set off against blue or something. I love the drama in these. It's almost melodramatic, you know. It's very theatrical. The poses are like, you know, stills from an old poster or an old movie theater poster or something, or a classic Hollywood film. Well, that's it. I hope you like those. Oops, slippery devils. Yeah. I'm going to take a little time to enjoy looking through these now that I've done the walkthrough. If I look at them under light in my own time, I can linger on them longer and enjoy them more. Oh, I noticed if you hold them at an angle, while the foil detail is shiny, these are not glossy cards. They're matte, pretty much matte. I mean, if there's a coating, it's an almost imperceptible coating. They're very smooth. They don't have that dry matte look. The backs look like they're a little more coated than the fronts. The back looks, you can see a little bit of a sheen there. The front, not so much. Now don't look at the metal, look at the cloak. See? Not really. There's not really a sheen there like on the back. Okay, well, that about does it for me. Unless something else comes down the pike, I am all caught up with my deck orders, and the only thing I have is a pre-order I'm waiting on for the Abandoned Oracle from Patrick Valenza, which I am hoping will arrive in the next week or two. Other than that, I don't have anything on my shopping list. So we'll see how long that lasts. I hope to see you before the holidays. Bye-bye. Have fun with your tarot.